This is a video that describes how you set up Internet Information Services for Windows 7. If you don't already have it installed on your box. In my case, we're going to go to the Start menu and to the Control panel. And by default, you'll see kind of a view that looks like this. I don't like that view very much, so I changed this drop-down that says View by Category to just View by Large Icons. And then you see something that looks like this. What we're going to do is go down and find Programs and Features. I'm going to click on that. And then from here, I'm going to click on the Turn Windows Features on or off. And this works in Windows Vista also. I'm going to search through this list until I see something that says Internet Information Services. And I've already actually installed it on my computer, but what you want to do is, this is unchecked, you want to check that box and leave some of the defaults. And then hit the OK. Once that's done, it'll wait for a little bit, it'll do an install for you, and you can then, when it's finished, go back to the Start menu and go to the Control panel. And from there you can click on this item that says Administrative Tools. Remember, you have to change the view by to large or small icons in order to see the list in this fashion. But then you can click on Administrative Tools. And then under there you will see a new item called Internet Information Services Manager. So I'm going to double click on that. And we have a server here. Now this server is literally your computer with a server technology running on it. And this server will help you to render web pages and web content out to any other computer that wants to connect to your computer to look at web content. So it's got a couple things in it, like something called an application pool and something called sites. And then in particular, it's a default website. Now, if you're not sure whether you've got the right version of Windows or whatnot, what you can do is press the window key and the pause break key to pop up a window like this that will tell you what version of Windows you have. In this case, I have Windows 7 Ultimate, and I've got a 64-bit operating system. So this could say Windows Vista. It could say Windows XP here if it was an older computer, or it could say Windows 8 if you got a brand new one. In here, there's a default website, and that default website creates a folder in the C drive on your computer. C drive has a folder called inetpub, and within inetpub, this whole set of folders in here is specifically associated with your server. There's a www root folder, and in there, what you might want to add is not a folder. Actually, I don't know why I just did that. You want to add a new text file, which we can't add because there's some security issues with Windows 7 and Windows Vista letting you just add files to the C drive. By the way, this isn't anything malicious. This is something that strips the zone information off of a file that you find here in security or previous versions. In the general tab if you've downloaded a file from the internet. So don't think this is anything weird. What you want to do if you want to create an HTML file here is you've got to create the HTML file first on your desktop, which we did in some earlier videos, but I'm just going to do a new one here just so we can get through this quickly. I'm going to call it document.html, change the file extension to just an HTML file extension. And obviously I'm going to open this with Notepad, and I'm going to add HTML and a body and some test text. And we're going to save the document and close it. Now we already know that this document will show up in a web page and have some text on it, but how do we make it show up in our server? How do we make it show up not here in the file system but somewhere else? Well, in order to see the files that are already here on our server, we can look at the content view, and we can see that there's something called iisstart.htm, which is very similar to .html like we had before. But how do we see that without using the file system to look at it? Well, we go to our browser, and we can type in localhost/iisstart.htm. If we put an http:// in front of it, this should be sufficient for us to actually look at that URL. Hit enter, and poof, here is that HTML file, which is an HTML document, running on a server that other computers on the internet can connect to through something called an IP address. One way to look at our computer and figure out what the IP address is to go look at all programs, accessories, and command prompt. We can type in IPCONFIG to get our IP address for the local computer. In this case, it's a little bit misleading. It says it's 169.254.233.253. So if I remembered all that, which I didn't, okay, came close though, .253. Well, notice that IP address is my computer's IP address, and isstart.html does take me to my web page. So all we need to do then is move this document that we had created on desktop and maybe some images and other documents that we created. We just move it from the desktop and paste it into the C drive under inetpub, under www.root, and in here, or it could be subfolders or whatever, but I'm just going to paste it right here in the root for now. Paste, continue if it asks, and now I can type in document.html, and there's my web page.